Content prioritization. What is that anyway? Let's say you have to do a project on something innocuous. How about wolves? First, you head to your local library and carefully look for credible publications on wolves in order to research them. Sorry, we're well into the 2020s, not the dark ages. Who goes to the library anymore when we have all the information in the universe ready at our fingertips? And who better to provide this information than Google? Off you go. You type wolves into the search bar. Right. So first you find the upcoming matches for the professional British football team, the Wolverhampton Wanderers. Next up, it's articles from major news outlets concerning, Wolves fans. Oh, here we go. Wolves. The first bit of information on wolves comes to us from Wikipedia. Then we're directed to Twitter, some more professional sports sites, then National Geographic for more wolves. Oh, IMDb, and videos. You're nudged to watch videos, all on YouTube, of course. Finally, a bit more on wolves, as well as some other searches that Google feels are in your best interests, or maybe someone else's. Great. Welcome to content prioritization, the method of giving priority to some sites over others when a search is performed. In this case, priority went to well-funded professional sports teams who likely pay for their popularity, Google-backed information sites like Wikipedia, as well as social media affiliated with Google, Twitter, or owned by Google, YouTube. The content that appears when you do a search may at first glance appear to be simply a result of how popular some sites are over others, but there's much more to it than that. Originally, the system to rank sites was in fact so simple that Google literally shared it with the public so they could apply it to heighten the chances of their site getting seen. Similarly to how the number of times an academic paper is cited in other works increases its legitimacy, the number of hyperlinks leading to pages would show that a page must be more useful, especially if the pages they were linked with were also well connected. Unlike academic papers whose legitimacy is backed by peer reviews, however, in Google, linked pages require no vetting beyond their hyperlinks. PageRank, as this system was called, has long been updated to a much more complex algorithm. The program still considers links to pages, but also takes into account an unseen number of other factors, no small amount being how much it is in the financial interests of Google for the content to appear at the top. But wait, Google is a private company, and it's within its interest to create a system that would provide profits. The pursuit of profits in and of itself is a neutral and reasonable goal, is it not? No harm done. Well, except that we rely on the content Google provides us for all our information. Schools, universities, and governments are all happy to allow us to rely on Google's choices of what we should see. In the case of our innocuous search on wolves, this meant a whole lot of for-profit sites on wolves. This certainly puts a capitalist slant on our children's education. And what about other vulnerable members of society? Google's search algorithm is a worrisome combination not just of the exclusive popularity reflective of the hegemonic frameworks already in place in society, but also a reinforcement of power for those willing to pay. This algorithm, far from being neutral, has to have been created by a human who is themselves inherently biased, no matter whether this bias is intentionally harmful or a more subtle form of marginalization due to the blinders of privilege. What this means for minority groups is that content relevant to them will likely not be as popular as what is chosen by the majority, and if they are unwilling or unable to pay, then there is no way for them to change this situation. This becomes especially troublesome when free speech laws allow well-funded groups to promote sites that are harmful and offensive. Google has avoided backlash by claiming that they do not have control over what their, now secret, algorithm chooses, rather that it is simply neutrally picking from the data available. However, in some countries where freedom of speech does not extend to racism, Google has been seen to actually have plenty of control. It's just that the control over harmful content is not profitable. What content prioritization means for me as an instructional designer is an increasingly limited availability of valid source material. When searching for pieces that would help in choosing a technology or providing a service, it is now rare to find an editorial written by a professional in the field. Instead, I'm faced with a series of cleverly created fake blogs which use AI to spout slightly different variations of the same material for the purpose of promoting sponsored information. These sites all pay handsomely for the top spots and offer me little to no value. Google's ranking system affects my daily life in tiny little ways which have huge impacts on my community. When I shop, I'm directed to large online shopping sites rather than local vendors. When I look to attend local events, I'm pushed to use Google Maps to find them. It even affects my ability to be seen. I created a climate fiction site for teens and was pretty excited to share it with the young people in my life, so encouraged them to look it up. They couldn't find it. I wasn't surprised when Googling my name, several more popular Haley Moonies showed up. But what did surprise me was that when I typed the actual name of my site, it still didn't show up. There are ways around this. Every time Google updates its ranking system, some clever people come up with tips and tricks for how to game the system, otherwise known as search engine optimization. I could do this for myself, probably with fairly uninspiring effects, but of course, I could also pay for SEO services. Search engine optimization is big business. It seems like everything related to search engines is. Perhaps we should think about that next time we need to do a project on wolves. Unlike going to the library, where the only one to benefit from my research is me, who is my search optimization for when I use Google instead? And who loses out?